Thank you so much again to Hollyland. Watch nice. They're ready on. And now you start to hear different our voice. Allora, prova. 1, 2, 3, prova. Welcome back to Sailing MV! Not on the boat, but the boat floating and the engine running. We want to talk about what's happened during the last rebuilding of the engine.
That you saw in the time lapse in the last video, but we didn't really explain. So the last video where we did explain what was going on was we were remachining the head that had warped because the engine had overheated. And in the last video, in the time lapse, we put the head back on with some local Volvo mechanics.
We arrive on the end with them, I believe, to manage to do the running test, but sadly the marine ice parts, the heat exchange tank leak badly. I redo the gasket, I redo the epoxy filler. And when I start the engine the day after, we reckon immediately the noise is a metal noise, a typical noise from the run tune of the valve.
It's not leaking.
The connection.
We called back the mechanics because the engine sounded funny and making a funny noise, and we thought that it was the valves they needed retuning.
There is many other stuff can be run in that engine after the gasket be damaged and the salt water managed to reach the chamber of the piston, the explosion chamber. The water, if it be infiltrated inside the explosion chamber, is incompressible and can damage also the joint of the piston and other parts. Quindi we don't know what can be wrong. We call back the mechanic and they restart to do it, the tune of the valve, try to understand what's happened. During that operation, the pushing rod, one of the pushing rod break, and they had the pushing rod disconnect from the rod. Our rod is made in two parts. One head is electro welding to the stick, the rod, and the two elements separate.
But didn't the mechanics also find that they said that the cylinder, one of the piston rings was
Exactly. Immediately when they start, the two things I report to them, the strange noise and the steam from the cap of the oil. When we do the test with the completely open cover, they can saw the steam come from the piston on the center, the piston number 2. And there is where they say probably you have the ring of the piston break and the oil managed to come up in the chamber and burning.
So there were several parts that we need to replace, and you also think that the oil pump didn't look like it was working perfectly?
The other problem we noticed with the valve cover remove is the distribution of the oil on the handle camshaft. The camshaft is empty. It is like a pipe distribute the oil in each camshaft handle, I think the name is. The problem is our camshaft don't distribute oil in the last cam handle. I try to remove in my workshop with my vise, but I don't manage. I'm so worried every time to break something because the engine is already old, is fragile, is weak. Quindi I say, please, can you bring in your workshop and do it? And they managed to clean. We try on board to clean. I try with the water blaster. I try with the bending wire. I try in many different ways, but nothing. In the end, they do a good job. They bring in the workshop and they clean properly, also with the water, also them. They coming back, and also when they be reinstalled, we expect to see clean and the oil distribute also in the last camshaft handle. No, the oil don't arrive. That's making me suspect again also the pump of the oil is tired.
So I guess now our main options are either we have to rebuild this again, which means maybe even we have to take the head back off and check the engine block more thoroughly, and maybe take it out of the boat. And even after replacing let's say the piston ring and the push rod, we may then find that the oil pump doesn't work, or
it's not powerful enough.
Or our favorite option would be to try to organize a new one.
We need one partnership with some big brand. Is a few years from the beginning. We have some dream because we know what we like, and some company uses some blocks engine I really like because I feeling is strong. Have one engine in one cruiser, I mean have one component of the boat give a safety. You have to relabel in him for come out from a situation where there is no wind, or when the wind is too much in the wrong direction, or when the current. This engine have one very nice life. By racing, it be installed for the major reason for maneuver the pump of the ballast is only 138 horsepower, but not for do the cruising life. We use it for cruising for 2 years. We keep on life, we try to rebuilding. We have so many problems.
It's a bit ironic because for the last year we've had the gearbox not functioning properly, and we finally put in this new second-hand gearbox, and for the first time in a year have fully functioning gears, only to have the engine die. I mean, on that other engine, you've resealed the oil pan, you've replaced the timing gear cover probably twice, you've repaired the heat exchanger insert, all the pumps, the water pumps, the fuel pumps, the
two
oil
water pumps, salt water, 3 water pumps, fresh water because they corroded.
And yeah, the damper plate.
The damper plate.
Twice.
I managed to repair one damper plate on board, and goes from one island. There is only 10 miles, but with 10 miles with the channel and shallow water to enter in Sarangan. With the epoxy filler, we reseal the coolant exchange. Every time we remove, we broken 2 times the heater exchange insert, the cap of the heater exchange tank. We change a valve, piston, valve 2 times, piston 1, rings, all parts of the rebuilding kit in Fiji. The timing cover is so corroded, we change 1, but the body of the engine where the timing cover and the pump of the salt water is installed is so corroded that the only system every time is filled with the epoxy filler. We burning the crankshaft seal. Quindi that is when I say is it look like one patient for keep on life you keep in continued therapy with a so strong medicine that there is no sense.
No, it's just a shame that we've had to spend so much time and energy and resources on this flaming engine and not be able to put more of it into the sails and the sailing. Then maybe now it's really enough and too much, and we don't keep trying to keep this engine alive, and we look for something different. Fingers crossed.
Yes. But we say thank you anyway to all our Patreon and the strong group of you that you always are the first one to comment, and you are so competent people. You understand, you follow us, but at the same time, so you can see when you read your comment that you know what you talk about, you know what we do it. I want to say thank you so much.
I also want to say a big thank you to all our Patreon and Coffee supporters. Thank you so much for staying with us through it all. Thank you.
It's very late. Ciao.